Bro, we're doing.
I think you're gonna be the only one with bloopers.
No, we didn't. What do you mean bloopers? I thought this was live.
We're gonna get. Oh, it's not live.
It's not live.
It's pre-recorded, so it's gonna be Monday morning things. I took some inspiration.
Inspiration from who?
Inspiration. You
Matt?
inspired.
From that right there. You like that? Is that some inspiration?
That's good. That's pretty good right there. All those what are they? Ironmans?
Ice cream.
Ice creams?
Ice creams.
It's
Pints of ice cream.
It is. What's up, y'all? I'm here with Brian Kusko, Triple B TV.
I'm here with John Fealy, Fealy's Clutch. Love this dude.
It's been too long. We have a very, I don't know how to put this, a very genuine, loving connection that
Brothers in Christ.
Brothers in Christ.
Yeah.
And brothers in ice cream and brothers in snakes. And there's always good energy between us. I've always admired the way you kind of hold yourself and the way you're very factual about everything, and you don't like, we're going there, or you try to be. You believe they're facts, so it works.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Every now and then I believe I'm saying facts.
So one of the things that I just moved my camera really bad. One of the things I love about this podcast is it's supposed to be representative of who the breeder is outside of just being a breeder.
Okay.
So
sounds like my
a lot of people, like I said, you're inspiring. I listen to too much stuff. A lot of people that watch your vlog channel or even Music Man and know about that. We know enough.
The very few people that know about Music Man.
We know about your background, but kind of tell us what's built Brian to be who you are today.
Oh my goodness, I thought this was going to be a short podcast. Well, once upon a time, there was a very lovely man and a very lovely lady who got together at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, and they met there. And it wasn't but a few short years later, they were married, and within a year of being married, there I was, right on their wedding anniversary.
There you go.
They spent their first wedding anniversary in the hospital with me. And that was the very beginning of the building of Brian Kusko. And
I love that you did that.
It's been a long road. I mean, I'm trying to be factual here, you know. You represented me as somebody who represents facts, so I want to make sure I'm sticking to them. So I don't make a liar out of you, John. I'm trying to keep you honest. And there was a lot of, I got my first snake when I was 4, so I've been into reptiles for a long time. You know, that was a thing. And that was cool. I mean, I never had anybody else in my life that also kept reptiles until long after I had moved to Hawaii, became an adult, and went through played music in a band for, professionally for a decade plus, and had a whole hiatus from keeping snakes because of the Hawaii thing. And then when I came back, I wanted to jump back into reptiles. I'm talking about Brian Kusko, the reptile keeper and breeder now. I know it's not what I'm supposed to be doing, but
no, you're good. You're good. I'll redirect you.
I got back into it when I moved back. I told my wife, who I met in Hawaii, married in Hawaii, that when we got back to the mainland, I was going to get a snake. And she was like, "You're going to do a what?" and I did that. And then when I did that, I started finding other keepers because of the internet now existing. And that just kind of blew up huge. Okay, there's snakes, there's companies, there's expos. I had no idea all of this stuff existed. The internet blew it wide open for me. And I met all kinds of amazing people, where I'm at this show, and it's just like a whole giant family, because I was very much an introvert. I am an introvert still, just converted. And so, because after this weekend, I'm going to go home and crash hard. But it really has helped break me even more out of my shell. Talking about building Brian Kusko, playing in the band had a lot to do with it, but I was also behind, protected by the drums. So if people tried to get too close, I could just whack them with a stick if they even made it that far on the stage. But that helped still bring me out of my shell a bit, meeting people touring around the country and whatnot. And then this has done it even more so, where I'm actually filming myself and putting it out there to the world. And then people, and just like I said, try to be factual about it for the most part, being honest with myself and who I am, and not letting that change with the camera or without it. And the nice thing about there's a double-edged sword to that, which is if you put your real self out there, you put your real self out there to be attacked by the internet, which happens. And if you create a caricature of yourself, then you don't have to worry about it. Like, that's not me. That's somebody I made up. And if some people attack that, I'm
that's
fine.
a safe zone.
Yeah. So, and people do that. And I understand why.
You said doo-doo.
I say doo-doo a lot. And some of my best performing videos involve pee and doo-doo. And I just didn't do that. But the benefit of not doing that is when you go to meet people that you've met, like I do here, like we come to the shows to do, and meet all kinds of people who've been watching the videos for years, then, well, hopefully they're not disappointed.
It's just true.
But it's easier to not disappoint them because I don't have to do some caricature of myself to represent the person they see on the videos. I just show up as me, and it works out, which is great.
I love that.
I love that too. Yeah.
So everyone knows you kind of like how you were talking, right? As the content
Are we supposed
creator.
to be eating ice cream?
Yes, we are.
I got you ice cream, John.
As the content creator, and I know you as the dad, and I'm sure other people know you as the dad, and I've seen the loving side of Brian, which I think we all see. But what's something that you think you've done a decent job? I know you're fairly open with almost everything. What's one thing you think you've done a decent job at kind of keeping under wraps that you're willing to divulge to everything?
Keep that stuff under wraps. I'm not willing to divulge it. I got you a spoon. What you think about that?
Like,
that the bad parts of myself that I don't like to share.
it's not necessarily bad, but just like what's something that we don't know? Because I know the fitness side, I know the music side, I know the creator side, and then kind of like how I'm not going to say perfectionist. I said perfectionist earlier just because I like to pick on you, but
I am going to make sure I finish all this ice cream.
I know you are.
I do like
just
things
something that
nice.
drives you outside of what we've seen, I guess.
Pickleball recently. I haven't like filmed a pickleball game yet. I've been getting into that the past 6 months, playing some pickleball. I've shared my journey with the Lord, in the last year. So that's not something I haven't divulged. I was pretty open about that too, which is another thing that's super, very deeply personal. But at the same time, I just felt compelled to share about it because it seemed like something that a lot of people could benefit from, and it has. I've seen it. People have been benefiting from it. So I was happy. I'm glad that I did. But at the same time, when somebody attacks something like that's so deeply personal to you, it can sting more. Where I've already had built up this skin of like, just because you attack my person, that's fine. Like I built up a tolerance to that. But then I've shared like something that's even deeply more like my spirit. But it's fine though, because God protects us in that, right? He's got his armor, with shields of light, and just like it's fine. So I've shared about that. So
Is there a fear?
I'm bouncing around. No, strangely, the only not fear. I wouldn't say fear, but the only apprehension or thing that I would be concerned about in that is not being a good representative of somebody who follows Christ, and not wanting to put a bad name or put a bad taste in people's mouth because of it or with it or associate it with it. But it's such a different thing for everybody sometimes. It's such a personal thing, but it's lovely. I love to share it with as many people as possible because when we're in that moment, it's like when the Holy Spirit's working, it's like, gosh, this is how it goes, right? This is how things happen.
Overwhelming calm,
just like wonderful, like everything's. It's like when you're in that moment of like everything just flows. You're just tossing the rolled up paper towel over across the room, and just goes swish right in the basket. Yeah, stuff like that. But I'm dodging around your question of like what do I not share about, because I don't share. I share a lot. My point is in sharing that is that I do share a lot. There's not much that I don't. I shared my testimony with a group of gentlemen the other morning, a couple weeks back, and I shared some things there that I had never told anybody else in my entire life. I didn't record that, and I don't know that I'd show that right here, right now. That was kind of you kind of had to be there in person type of thing,
And there are those moments,
Yeah.
100%. I think there's stuff where you have to be comfortable. Not that you're never. Well, I mean, there's times where you're uncomfortable. We all have those moments, but like you genuinely seem comfortable. You're always kind of in your element. You're kind of focused in the path that you want to take, and you stick to that path, which I think is great.
That took a lot of work. There's a lot of work there. This last year and a half has been turned into turbocharged a little bit, for sure. Yeah, it's good. Well, now knowing where I'm going, knowing where we end up eternally, it's like that's very comforting. And it's just like, okay,
it changes your perspective on things.
It does. Like, I'm not worried about this ice cream at this point. Like, where I'd be like, oh, maybe I can eat. It's like this shit.
My wife's not gonna like it later.
That hasn't
great
changed
in the truck.
that hasn't changed at all. I've been eating pint ice cream for years. But I mean, some of the things that drive me. I mean, I feel like I share most of the things that drive me. I don't think there's anything that I've kept that drives me. There's dark things about me, I think, that I don't share, but those aren't the things that drive me. Those are the things that I like try to kill. Try to kill those things. Let the Lord shine in and just wipe them out. So those don't drive me.
You have a new thing coming to drive you, though.
Oh yeah, new kid. I've shared about that too, though. I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to rack my brain for something I can share that I haven't. Yeah, there's a new kid coming, which is awesome.
Is there a little fear in it?
No,
not at all.
Not at all. Zero fear there. Yeah.
I felt it with everyone, man. I don't know why.
Really?
I felt fear with every single one, and not necessarily fear like, oh, am I going to be a good dad, or are we going to be able to do this? But just the fear of, how am I going to represent myself to them? Because I try to, I don't know if this makes sense, but like, I try to find a way to play to each child, because each child's different. So it's like, how do I most effectively pull out the best of each one of my children?
Love. Just love. I think that, and it sounds easy and cliche, but I have seen lots of parents who which surprises the hell out of me. But I've seen plenty of parents that didn't seem to love their kids. I've known people like that. I'm just kind of like, wow, how does that work? But I had good examples. I was blessed to have good examples, growing up, to see what that looks like. So they probably, those friends didn't have those examples. So that makes sense, actually. But John's got to help a customer real quick. Just loving them, and I think humility is a big part of it. There's definitely moments when I would think that I'm the man, I'm the boss here, and like what I say doesn't matter. You're doing it because I said, and then but to step back from that, and have moments where you talk with your kids about your shortcomings, or listen, I'm trying to do the best I possibly can to raise you and be the best I possibly. But I'm just a person. I have flaws and faults, and I mess it up more often than I'd like to. And I found that in those moments when I'm honest about my own failures that I feel as a father, that I gain a lot more of their respect. I mean, I've watched it happen. Just I'm like, have a moment where I'm pissed off at Noah or something, and then I come back to him and just tell him that I'm sorry, and then I'm just trying, that I shouldn't be having those moments, that I should be able to communicate with him without getting that worked up, because it's not going to help anybody. And just tell him what I just told you. I'm really trying to do my best here as a father, and he'll come back with, that I love you, and I'm just trying to do my best as a son too. And it's awesome. A lot of that is a lot of that has been reinforced since I started reading the Bible and going to church. A lot of that has been brought. There's such a good community of folks out there that support each other, and in those moments, and just having that to go to is huge. It's been huge, life changer, big time. Because people get confused about, or not confused, but people want to rebel against God.
Always.
Yeah, myself included.
I try to do it daily, and I have to take a moment, and you just kind of.
It's like our nature. That's like what it is to be like humans at this point. We've built our legacy on rebelling against God, right? And the more we can build that relationship back is beautiful, and is heavens of pockets of heaven opening up back on earth like it used to be in the beginning.
I find my peace how I feel like most of us do, right? It's like that animals, like going into the room. It's not an Eden, obviously, because it's not perfect, but that's my safe zone, and I think that's the way it is for a lot of us, right? That's one of the few moments where my mind's truly calm and I'm just focused on what's happening in front of me.
I think that's why these shows are so incredible, because you have a whole host of people that have that same relationship with their animals, where like that's their place, in the room. They're not out in the people, not out in the world, in that little safe haven they've created for their animals, and they're hanging out there. But then coming outside of that safe haven and having a whole host of people that do that same thing and being able to relate on that level, like, yeah, I get that. I know.
But even here, we're in our own little safe haven. Well, at least in these ones, because it's all carpet and drapes, and you have your separation. I'll bring a red carpet next time. But it's you have your safe zone still, but it's that small interaction kind of with the cat. Like, I'm able to bring, okay, I'm comfortable with you, come into my safe zone and let's do this real quick. Or I have that boundary in front of me if I'm not fully comfortable with you yet, and I'm able to converse with you, but
yeah, if you
there's that barrier.
Otherwise, you're out there in the house,
or you're just crying and you run wild.
Out there in the streets, boy.
What's one of the greatest moments that you've been able to share with the kids and the animals at once? Because you do such a great job of capturing that.
I mean, being able to watch Leia go from taking a pretty good feeding response bite to not letting that deter her from still loving the snakes, and being able to forgive an animal that is, seen as cold and heartless, cold blood, or literally cold blooded and figuratively cold blooded. But that was pretty great. Like, because I was honestly very concerned. I mean, obviously I wanted to be safe too, but it was fine. I mean, anybody's bit by a snake knows it is. That's like, we're not going to the hospital. We're dabbing it with a paper towel and wiping it off. But she still talks about it. She's like, remember when Junior bit me and you wiped it off and cleaned it up and it was all better, and then Junior just made a mistake. He made a mistake, and she still wants to hang out with all snakes, name them all chocolate, and keep them all. So that was a pretty great moment thus far. Is just watching her go from a place where she could have just been like, okay, I'm done with snakes. It was because it was not fun. Hillary came in screaming, like, I know that added to the trauma. But for her to be just to kind of wipe it off, even as a little girl, just a little gentle girl, and just be like, just still be tough, just because I want my kids to be able to handle things, in the world, because of it's a tough, broken world out there, and like there's gonna be things that are thrown at them, and so to know that even at a very young age, my girl, that the boys are tough, but and she's tough too, and that's a great for so that my daughter can handle something and come back from it strong and loving. It's pretty great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. I very much. I look forward to bringing the two families together when we finally do it. Like I said, I want to see it happen this year.
It's gonna be a madhouse.
That's my goal. Oh, it is, because I've took a book out of the Kusko book, or a page out of the Kusko book. I guess I never used to roughhouse right before bed. It was like, I'm gonna ramp them up, and they're gonna want to do anything, and they're gonna be like wrapped up for hours, and I'm never gonna get them to sleep. And so the youngest, he'll roughhouse for a really long time, and Gabriel will be like, and then doosh, and he crashes. But Josiah will roughhouse, and he'll go there, and he'll just lay in his bed, and he's like, I'm like, boy, go to sleep. It's okay. I love you. Go to sleep. And he's just like, hey, Dad, do you remember when we did? Go to sleep. I love you. And Elena, she's so funny, man. Like, she'll jump in, and she's like, you guys are getting too rough for me. I'm out. And then she'll go and lay down in her bed. Like, she won't even wait. She's like, yeah, that was enough. She'll just lay down. I'll walk in and say goodnight. And she's like, it was beautiful. What's
Kids are fun. I'm still growing up too. So
I think we all should be that way, man. Like, if you feel like you're set and you turn everything into a job or like just
that sounds
a focus, yeah, exactly. Like, if you can't have fun with everything that you're doing, then you're. I don't want to say your perspective's wrong, but like you're looking at things wrong.
I don't like the word job.
Yeah.
I like Job.
Job.
I like Job. Not job. Job. A little wisdom. Know that could be I'll be away at any moment, and you gotta be grateful that you have a moment to even be ripped away. Job.
So good luck.
I've done what?
20. You've done a lot of different adventures throughout your time in the industry. What's one of your goals for 2023 that you would like to see?
I'm just trying to make it through 2023, right?
To make it through.
I got a newborn coming. We're going back to diapers. My goals are to keep sanity, or to not, to
Are you going back to the rewashable diapers?
I'd like to get a reasonable amount of sleep a night. That's my goal for 2023.
That's not going to happen.
I would like to get out of the country once, at least, even despite that, despite wanting to stay home for quite a bit to support the family with my presence, because that's the best support I can offer, really. I mean, other than making sure we have a place to live and food to eat, is being there, But I would like to get out of the country. That's the goal. I would like to, and this is a funny goal because, like, I have virtually no control over it. It's like I put the snakes together, and then after that, it's like up to God. So I would like to produce some triple hets for the project that I've been trying to produce triple hets for the last 2 years. That would be great. And I would like to, I don't know, that seems like enough goals.
What's the out of the country trip that you'd really like to do? Because I know you've talked about the trips you were supposed to take so far.
Philippines. But anywhere out of the country.
Is that strictly for heritage, or is that?
No, that we would go with. I think the plan with cotton bar check, and go find Philippine perps. Sail dragons, yeah. Sail dragons. There's some Philippine retics. Yeah, that's a good goal. But I'll settle for Canada if that's at least makes me get out of the country.
I got a brain freeze.
And we're not even doing a challenge.
I know, we're not pushing.
Nonchalantly.
Well, I'm kind of watching where you are, making sure I keep up.
I'm not even, I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to make it last here.
For everyone that's just kind of coming into the industry or stepping into a journey, what's one piece of advice that you'd like to leave people with?
Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Openly and honestly. Scary thought for some folks. Scary for me, I think. Worth it. There's such a great community of folks out here. You put your real self out there, you catch some heat somewhere, but that's the scary part. But at least it's the real you, and you'll find plenty of people that'll fit your bill, fit your mindset, and so you'll have a family.
Love it. I think that's a good place to end it.
All right.
Glad to have you as family.
Yeah, bro.
What show did you sign yourself up for?